Williams mentioned a book that he has just written recently. It's called Character Carved in Stone. The background is that Williams was asked to speak at West Point, and as he toured the campus, he saw 12 marble benches, each of which had inscribed in it a character quality that they have built the ethos of West Point around. And these character qualities are ones that we can adopt for ourselves. I'd like to just cite the character qualities that were on these benches. There are 12 of them: compassion, courage, dedication, determination, dignity, discipline, integrity, loyalty, perseverance, responsibility, service, and trust. Now, we could expand on any one of those and take them all to heart, really, but one of them in particular I'd like to just make a few additional comments on, and that's courage, which seems to be particularly appropriate in some of the current difficulties that we're going through. Williams actually defines courage as mastery over fear. It's a very good, concise definition. But then he goes on and actually talks about 5 different kinds of courage. I wish I could expand on each of them. They've been helpful for me. But physical courage, the willingness to risk life and limb for the sake of other people or for a righteous cause. Moral courage, it's the commitment to stand utterly alone and friendless to do what is right. Emotional courage, that would not have been intuitive to me, but it's the willingness to endure heartache, sadness, loss, anxiety, fear, depression, and other forms of emotional pain. He refers to the emotional anesthetics that people go to today. You know what they are: alcohol, drugs, opioids, promiscuity. And then the next he mentions is intellectual courage, the willingness to seek truth wherever it leads, looking at every question from all sides, always telling the truth, even when there's a price to pay for your honesty. And then the final form of courage that he cites is spiritual courage, the willingness to ask deep questions about God, existence, meaning, death, and life after death. Oh, I find that there are so many thoughts that come to mind when I look at this list. Just noting this last one for a minute, spiritual courage, the willingness to ask the tough questions. I think maybe during this current situation, people are thinking more about end-of-life issues, and part of spiritual courage is addressing the fact that we all need to come to grips with that final chapter in our lives. But just wrapping up, Williams continues this powerful chapter, one of just 12 character qualities, in which he lines out some of the steps that we can take toward greater courage, all of which he notes are rooted in the West Point tradition. Become more disciplined. Face your fears. Practice demonstrating courage every day. Isn't that an interesting one? Practice demonstrating courage. Embrace uncertainty and replace fear with faith. You know, an application for me is to not avoid the path of least resistance. My dad counseled me on this, and I'm not sure that I really got the lesson as I should. So I'll have a tendency to take that path of least resistance. But Williams says to build courage, take the less traveled path, the path of greater resistance, the path that requires more courage. And I think I see his point that this is how depth of courage gets forged.